Hi, babies. It's the even more fabulous Dr. Mother Love coming to you live and in living color. I am so pleased that you decided to join us, whether you're here with us live or you download us on the podcast. You know, we're on everybody's platform. And I know what y'all saying. Who is that beautiful woman sitting next to Mother Love? This is the beautiful and very talented Eve Richards. She is running things. She is out here in LA doing her thing. She's a fashionista. And I was checking out that top you got on. I think I could pull that off too. So when you get off the show, just put it in a Ziploc bag and mail it to me. Listen,
Well,
I have no problems with, oh, I want that. I remember I was in Macy's one day in New York. And so a lady walked up to me. I had on one of my Mother Love t-shirts. And she just went on and on. Oh my God, I love you. I love you. I said, well, what can I do for you, baby? She said, you could give me that t-shirt. Okay. And I have to remember where I was. Okay, I was on the floor. I was not in the dressing room. So I
mhm.
went to pull the shirt. My husband said, put your shirt back down. Go in the dressing room. And I gave her the shirt off my back.
Wow, what
I
a
just told take what you
story.
need. Now let's talk about Miss Eve Richards. Where were you when you were 12 years old? And when did you know you were going to be famous?
So, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for having me, and thank you to my PR manager, Roger Neal,
That's
for
my guy.
booking this. Gotta thank him. Gosh, when I was 12, I was in London. I was born
Mhm.
in London, England. So I was 12. I always wanted to perform because my mother was a judge and my father was an attorney, and that's what they wanted me to do.
Wait a
And
minute. Your mother's a judge. Your father's an attorney. So people are looking at you from every angle. You cannot do no wrong. Okay, my mother's a judge. See,
yeah,
that's a big weight.
it is a big weight, but then because of the pressure of them wanting me to be an attorney, I felt like I wanted to rebel and do what I felt would make me happy. And so
Mhm,
my parents were, especially my dad, who was very strict, loved him to death,
mhm.
but he was a discipline and he wanted me to do law. And I just decided I wanted to do something more creative. I'd always loved makeup. I'd always wanted to dream and dream about Hollywood and dream about the lights, the cameras. And so I was always drawn to the arts from the time I was 12.
What drew you to the arts? What venue, what kind of fair were you watching, were you listening to at 12 that made you say, E, you know you're destined for, because I
Yeah.
don't believe, believe there are celebrities and there are stars.
Yes.
As a star, you will shine wherever you go.
Oh, that is so sweet of you. Thank
And
you.
I don't blow smoke. Don't get me wrong, babe. I'm taking that. I ain't got time to blow smoke. I
I
see you doing
love
big
it.
things.
No, you are incredible. I think I always watched things like Casablanca and just fell in love with the romance. I fell in love with the dream of wanting to be with my Prince Charming and what it would feel like. Even Cinderella, just watching some, and I just was drawn into that it just felt so magical,
Mhm.
just trying to escape and become someone else. And I always had this dream that, wow, if what would it be to be able to tell stories? And that's how it started. But then I decided to get into something else. I worked
Mhm.
for corporate America. I worked for American Express. I worked for Macy's advertising, which I think was great because
Mhm.
it made me a much better person in terms of coming back to the industry.
Mhm. And you have to have that, that metal to you to find out who you really are, whose you really are, and will you do this? Because I don't believe in happen chance. That's just me, and I'm crazy like that. Because I believe that we are put into positions that we are meant to be in, and
Yeah.
even though we might not know where it comes from, 'cause so, are you a faithful person? Do you believe that there's a higher force? Okay, that was okay. Shut up, mother Lord. That was a dumb.
Yes. You know what? Every day when I wake up, I thank God. Every night when I go to bed, I thank God because we live in a world where anything can happen at any second. I've had some near fatal experiences where I got very sick without knowing. I live a very healthy lifestyle, but it
So wait
happened.
a minute, what was that like? Because I hear a lot of people say, "I take good care of myself, I exercise, I eat right." How did this happen? When did you know that you were sick and you knew you had to go someplace to get some help?
Um, in 2020, around COVID 2021, I was losing a lot of weight
Mhm.
without even realizing something was wrong with me. And a doctor was like, I got to give her a lot of credit. And she said, Eve, let's do some blood work and see what's going on.
Mhm.
Because I was exercising and she was like, you can't exercise. I was like, how dare you tell me not to exercise? I had lost about 50 pounds. And the real,
Okay, wait a minute.
yeah,
That's a whole person.
oh yes, it was bad.
That's a
But
small child.
I realized that I had hyperthyroid, disease, which I didn't know. And it happens to people at any age, even in your 20s, 30s, 40s. And that made me more aware because I was like, no, I want to take hypo, just doing all the homeopathic. But my doctor was like, you need to see an endocrinologist ASAP, otherwise you're going to die. I was having
God, that's
thyroid storm.
serious.
Yeah.
And you had thyroidism?
Yep, thyroid storms, and I gotta thank my doctor, Dr. Anthony Yan, because he is in San Francisco, but he saved me. He put me on a plan, and I get to see him today, even today, every 3 months,
Mhm.
and that's why I pray to God. I pray to God. I thank God that I'm still here on earth.
And I totally am in agreement with you with that. And faith to me doesn't have anything to do with religion. When you pray, that's your personal connection.
Of
And
course,
oftentimes we want to barter with God. Well, Lord, if you let me do this, maybe then I'll go to the doctor, find out what's really wrong with me.
mhm,
And God is saying, okay, Eve, this is no joking matter. I'm stuff, I am strong, I am woman. And woman could go down. And you know how we are. We
yes,
will wait until the last minute before we go and take care of ourselves. You'll take care of everybody
yep,
on your platform, everybody in your family, all the community people, the church people, and then you're trying to figure, well, what happened to Miss Eve? I know her leg was sewed up real tall when we haven't seen her in church lately. And
yeah,
I went to school to be a mortician. And let me tell you, there are no dead people that look like that look like they're sleeping. They look like dead people.
yes,
They're hard like a frozen piece of meat because that lets you know that the essence of you, the soul of you, has
yep,
just been housed in that body for the time being.
yes.
And nobody said it was going to be easy. Shoot, if everybody could do it, everybody would be Miss Eve Richards, but they can't. We get original. So okay, so then you live up in you're from London. I didn't notice an accent.
I do have an accent. So I got to tell you, my story is quite unique because
Okay.
my father was born in Africa.
Mhm.
He came from, my grandfather had 15 kids, all from the same mother, the same wife. So they had three sets of twins. My dad
Oh,
was the oldest, but my grandfather was a principal in high school.
mhm.
And what he taught his kids was you got to go to school. My father was extremely smart. When he turned 16, he had a scholarship to go to Harvard. And when my dad got to Harvard, all his family members, they kept relocating to Boston. And so
Mhm.
Boston is my adopted home for my parents, from my father's side of the family.
Where in Africa is he from?
Cameroon.
Oh, Cameroon. Oh, we like the people from Cameroon. I
Mhm.
love people from all places. So
Yeah.
then you decide, and what was it like making your decision to come down this path into the entertainment industry and not just one platform? You the fashionista. You got a podcast on that. Tell them about the podcast. Let's talk about that first.
Yes. So last year, I lost my father, who was such an inspiration to me, to his family, to his friends. He died unexpectedly. I had not seen him. I didn't see him for a while before he passed. But they found out he had pancreatic cancer. They did not tell him. And within 3 weeks, he passed away. But what made me start the podcast was because my parents had divorced. My dad had moved on with someone else. My dad helped this person throughout his career. When my dad got sick, he was in the hospital. This person did not see my father. My heart still bleeds for my father when I speak about it.
Mhm.
This podcast was me using my voice
Mhm.
to honor my father's legacy. My mother had passed, but more so because of the events of what happened last year. I was on a journey to learn from others.
Mhm.
I wanted to bring in thought leaders, actors who had become successful, but also went through some obstacles. And I felt like I really had a story to tell, I had a message. And I wanted to create a podcast to use as a beacon of hope for anyone who listens to any of the episodes.
So tell us about, the shows, because I was reading your information and you have just about got a couple of my friends that are coming on. Kate Linder,
Ah,
oh my
I
goodness.
can't. She's
Yeah,
incredible. She
she
is
is such a genuine ray of hope, ray of sunshine. I mean, when you're talking with her, you get a happy feeling, and
yeah,
that's what I understand that you want to bring to people. And what is your process? I mean, you have producers, you have directors. What is your process of garnering these people, the
yeah.
guests, and what have you, to be on the show?
That's a great question. So I'm very fortunate to have my PR manager, Roger Neal,
Mhm.
who's also my executive producer. So
Mhm.
there are certain people that I know who reached out to me and wanted to be on the podcast. And I reached out to Roger, hey, can you book them? And then Roger has booked some of the guests as well, which has been very helpful. So
Mhm.
he does all the back end. He's been amazing. But I am so fortunate. We've had Bob Gale, who was the premier guest of the season. He was promoting Back to the Future, the musical, which opens at the Pantages in Hollywood on November 5th. Of course, yeah. And David A.R. White, who is a director, producer, actor, he does it all.
Mhm.
And I got to work with David. He's got an upcoming film that comes out next year, A Line of Fire. And I was very fortunate to have a role in that. But David was on last week promoting his new movie,
Mhm.
God's Not Dead, in God We Trust. So his episode premieres this coming Thursday. We've got Sean Cannon, who's going to be on in December promoting his new book, Kate Lander. We've got such an incredible, slew of guests. Burt Ward, Carol
He's been on
Kern.
the show too. Did they tell you?
Wow. Carol
Oh,
Kern.
I get the best. Why do
Yes,
you think you here?
the best.
Well,
The
yeah. Why do you
goes
think?
on.
Why do you question that when you're here with the even more fabulous mother love? I'm just asking
Of
because
course.
Roger makes sure I have the top of the line guest on the program. He knows how important it is, because as women and being an entrepreneur, you know how difficult it can be. When you go to people, they said the first group you go to when you're starting a new adventure is go to your soft market.
Yeah.
Okay, my soft market tell me, girl, I don't know who you think you are. You got a lot of nerve thinking you're gonna be on TV and the radio. What you gonna write? I mean, I did. They went after me like you would, and these are my own people. This is my own circle, and
Wow.
oftentimes people don't dream as big as you do.
Yeah.
You know,
You're
and
right.
people will say, "Oh, she thinks she's somebody." I said, "I don't think I'm somebody, baby.
Of
I know I'm somebody."
course. That's the right approach.
That's the attitude.
Yes, I went to Roger and I said, this is what I want to do. I want to bring in great leaders in our community, in the entertainment industry. Someone like Kate Lander, her story is so inspiring.
Mhm.
Been on the days of our lives for 40 plus years. But what I liked about
No,
her,
on the Young and the Restless.
Young and the Restless, sorry about that.
No, baby, don't worry, I got it. I'm a
Young
Young
and
and the
the
Restless
Restless.
freak
I
from
know
day
it's
one.
about Theo Panglias, who was on season one.
Uh-huh.
But her story of the fact that she's able to work as a flight attendant for United, I think this is a story that so many people would want to listen to and just hear her journey, because you would ask, but why does she have to do it? But she loves that interaction when she works as a flight attendant.
And we need people like her. It's not, all of us can't do this. So those who can do, those who can't teach, show somebody else how to do it and be able to say, okay, you're better at this than I am. So let me give you what I know, you
Yeah,
know. And I think is a big problem for us in this business as women. We
yeah,
don't believe in for the most part, pooling our resources together and making it work for all of us. But that's what they would want you to think. That's what the powers that be in this time want you to think. You can only make it if I tell you you can make it. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
And
that sounds stupid. I don't even know you.
I know, right? And so I've also had some younger, millennials as well. One of the guys that I had, who's one of my best friends, James. James was born in Beverly Hills, but he grew up in Lebanon. He shared his story. He's 25. He's going to Yale in Jan to become a dermatologist. But he wanted to share his journey about coming out. I'm saying this because we've already done the interview and he's very comfortable with me talking about it.
Okay.
But he wanted the world to know what it felt like in a community like, Beirut. He grew up in Lebanon. And those are the type of stories that to me are very uplifting because it's going to help someone else who's struggling with whatever they're going through.
And to be able to see difference from Beirut and from Lebanon and Syria and a lot of different places. And they're more often than not, they say, Mother Love, that's not who we are. That is not who we are. And when you sit down and talk to somebody from another country, which Americans don't really do a lot of that. They want to go to another country and want to take over things. Don't want to learn the culture, don't want to learn the language, don't want to know what the mores are, and then you expect to get a warm welcome. Bubblehead, do your research.
Yeah,
Do your research.
I know.
I knew how important that was when we went to Africa. We had a trip called Mother Love to the Motherland.
Where did you go? Where
We
not?
went to Dakar, Senegal, West Africa.
How
Stood
was
in the doorway of no return. I mean, it's literally about this big, and you
Wow.
could still smell the blood,
Mhm.
that's embedded in the rocks. And when I went, I was like, I came back completely different. Well, not completely different. Africa filled in a lot of gaps for me in my history. And I would encourage everybody, you get the opportunity, go to the motherland, go to where your ancestors have been. Then I come to find out, girl, we have a quarter Irish. I was like, how did we get into that?
Wow. That's in- that's incredible. But I think you're right. I believe in traveling has made me a better person. I've lived in different parts of the world. Been to New Zealand. I had family in New Zealand, and having
Field
the
trip. Field trip. I got my passport. That is someplace
it's
I cannot wait to go to New Zealand.
it's such a beautiful country. It's so small, 3-4 million people, but yet the people are friendly. I've been to Australia. I've been to Taipei. Taiwan. All of those have made me who I am today in terms of helping to educate me, exposing me to different cultures, which I think is what everyone needs if you have an opportunity to be able to travel.
Make an opportunity. If you don't have one, make one. Go and
Exactly.
talk to. That's how I met one of my girlfriends. She's from China and just as beautiful, just as smart. And she said, Mother Love, we should do a trip to China. And I said, yes, we should do that. Well, this is after a guy had invited me and I called and she was the director. And we took a delegation with us and it was just really, really amazing. And we around the world are more alike.
Yes.
We are different.
You know what? I like that. And that's the thing with the podcast or the projects that I work on is how connected are we? We really are. At the end of the day, it's about telling stories about human lives, human beings, and how do we impact folks with the types of stories we share.
And a lot of them, like you said that your friend, is he in medical school? Is he going,
He's starting in January. He's going to Yale at 25. I'm very proud of him.
and that's a whole branch of our society, a whole entity of our society that are still being maligned and ridiculed and dressed down and all these evil mean things that they have to say to one another, and it just doesn't make any sense. It takes too much work to hate somebody or hate something. See, it's just too much work. I don't have that kind of energy. I got 8 brain cells left,
Yes, I
and
know,
I'm
right?
using wisely.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm the same way. I'm too busy. I want to stay focused. And the reality is, for my time that I have on earth, knowing that I was sick and I almost died, I want to spend time with people who make me a better person, who inspire me to go out and do good in the world.
So how have you grown in your journey? Because you said this earlier that you got on your journey and this was your start to this journey. How do you stay focused? Because there's so much white noise out here. And that's oh, Eve, you should do that. Oh, join this regiment. Oh, here, buy this program. How do you keep yourself focused, laser focused, when it's so much white noise around you?
It's a great question. I'm glad I came back into the industry. I've been doing it for quite a while, but I came back when I'm not 30 anymore, right? But I'm a lot older.
Yeah, right. I want to see your birth certificate. I'm not 30 yet.
Well, but the
Well,
reality
and-
is,
well, if you are not, and you over 35, you know you working that, girl. You know you are working that. Because I see some of these young women out here, and it's like they either are so focused on their looks and not what comes from within, or they're so negative about their looks that they're afraid that let out the gift that they have for fear of being ridiculed.
yes, I
And
think
and then with all the stuff going on, how do you stay focused?
I stay focused because I surround myself with family. I don't have 20, 30 friends. I have friends that I knew. One of my best friends, she's up in San Francisco, Maureen. Maureen has seen my journey, how I've been able to evolve as a person. She's my best friend. She flies down to LA whenever I need her support. She's got daughters as well. Two of her daughters are in the entertainment industry. My family in Boston, I keep in touch with them every
Mhm.
single day. I have family in the Bay Area as well. So I'm always up in the Bay Area. I get away from LA and I come back more rejuvenated and more energized. Here in LA, I've got my PR manager, Roger. I've got a small group of friends. One of my friends that I've gotten to know very well is Melissa Nice. She hosted the podcast several episodes last season, and she's going to be hosting some with me as well. And we've become very close because she left her family in Seattle, Washington to move to LA. So our stories are very similar in the sense that we're both getting into this living family. And so I try to stay with a small core group of friends rather than having too many. And then I don't get to go to every event. I don't want to put myself out there. I go to events that I think are beneficial to me and
And I'm not. I mean, I am an event person for the most part,
yeah,
but I don't like frivolity, and I don't like stupid, and I'm allergic to BS, and I
yeah.
tell them that, and you gotta stand fast with what you believe,
Of
and not allow somebody else to tell you and be whispering in their ear, well, Eve, you need to be doing thus and so, and you. Well, I was on doing a TV show, and a lady said one day, and you know how you have to wear the IFB in your ear so you can hear
yeah.
what she said. Mother Love looks too ethnic. Okay, see that was wait. Oh wait,
Like what is that?
wait,
Like
wait,
what does that mean? I mean I don't get it.
wait.
What
See,
exactly is that? Like, yeah,
okay, so that look that you just gave is
yeah.
like $100,000 side eye. I'm just,
Like
and I
seriously.
started laughing.
Hmm.
She said, "Why do you think this is funny?" I said, "Because you think I'm ethnic. So what does that mean to you?" Well, you're black. I'm like, I'm not black. She goes,
Yeah.
"What do you mean you're not black?" I said, "This is the whatever black thing I could find. This is the color of black. Now you can tell my brown skin."
Yes, you're
And
right.
and I just wouldn't let up on him. And it was just too ethnic. See,
That's
that's why you have to
crazy.
be strong.
But you know what?
Women, keep going.
There,
Okay, there you
I've faced a lot of adversities where people want to, bring me down. Oh, you're black, you're this. I go into a room and I know my worth. I know who I am.
go.
And I don't let people make me feel like you're better than me because I have something unique to offer. I'm not there to, compare myself with anybody. Eve is Eve and the other person is the other person.
Right. And
Our
I'm
journeys are so different.
what do they say out here? What I don't know anything else other than being my authentic self. And
Yes.
they want to take you and mold you into a reign of stupidity. And I just wasn't going for it. And then when they find out that you really are smart, that
Yes.
you really are using that noggin, and you really are sucking up all of that knowledge that you can get, and they're like, Eve Richards is going to be a problem. I'm like, you don't even know how much of a problem we gonna
You're
be. We
right.
shouldn't have
No,
hooked up. Yes, we should have. Yes, we should have.
yes. Another thing that motivates me is I don't have kids, but I always think about my parents, my mom and dad. My mom passed away when she was in her 50s. And of course, my father passed away last year. He was in his 70s. But I have a lot of younger nephews and cousins, and all of them are looking up to me. And I think about what my mom and dad would think about what I'm trying to do. Like, is this the right thing? So I always
Mhm.
have that in the back of my mind that I'm representing my family and my family members. I think of my younger generation. I want to inspire them to go out and chase their dreams.
And it oftentimes it is a chase. And you have to be prepared for the chase. You just can't get in the running of this and any other business, thinking that you know everything when you don't. And that wastes a lot of people's time. And there was a one word that I was thinking about. Well, I wasn't thinking about it, but they said when I go to these seminars and what have you, that one of the things they say is, are you teachable? Are you willing to listen to somebody else? And
Yeah.
are you willing to take their advice? And a lot of people said, well, I had to listen to my parents. I had to listen to my school teachers. Why am I paid to come to a seminar and listen to you? Okay, you're a bobo head and move out the way. That's all you can do. That's all you can do.
Yes.
So when you're out here,
Mhm.
what what do you want people to get? Before we get to what you told us about the kind of guests that you have. And how often do you do your show?
So it's see we had season one. We had
Mhm.
12 episodes. We had Theo Pangliers, we had Sean Kanan, who we're very fortunate to have. This season two, we've got 24 episodes as well.
Mhm.
We just started taping 3 weeks ago, and the show airs every Thursday at 12 p.m. Pacific time.
Okay. And how long have you been? Because this is your second season. What
Yeah.
made you decide to get into the podcast industry? Because yeah, everybody could put up a podcast, but what is your sustainability
Yeah,
and your
that's
accessibility?
it's a great question. I seriously never thought I would do a podcast because I just wanted to focus on my acting. But
Mhm.
after my father passed away, I maybe something was still something just spoke to me that Eve, use your voice to educate people around the world to go out and
Mhm.
chase their dreams. And so last year in December, I met with Roger and we had a plan. I was like, Roger, I want the podcast to be a beacon of hope. It's all
Mhm.
about resilience. It's resilience and uplifting folks. And that's basically what my brand is, or the podcast is all about, being that beacon of hope. I know there are so many other podcasts out there, but the focus is on inspiring others by sharing personal stories from all of the successful people. Who would ever think a very successful actor went through some challenges? Because no one ever thinks about the journey, right?
Oh no, they just like all the shiny things and
Yeah.
the award part. Now, don't get me wrong. Please don't get me make this clear. Let me be clear. As our future president says, let me be clear. I'm in it for the swag. I
Yes.
kid you not. And Hollywood. What? Oh my God. The best swag I ever got was from the Academy Award after, for all
Yes.
this. I was like, I can pawn half of this stuff in
You're
this.
right. It's wonderful, but I also think when I've shared with some of my friends, I was doing a movie and I was doing very long hours and rehearsals. Actually, my family came from Boston last December. Susan and her spouse Stephen, they were staying with me in LA. They couldn't believe the dedication. I was doing an acting, I was in an acting school, ZA studio, and I was always busy with the auditions. I was rehearsing like every night, 4 or 5 hours. They couldn't believe it. So people never think about, they think of the red carpet and the glam, but there's behind the scenes.
And that's what people don't understand. When you don't understand a particular industry and or you're expecting something out of this different industry, whether it's the military, the firefighters, first responders, school teachers, the people who are, have the future of us in her hand and is in his hand as they're educating the generations that are coming behind us. And
Mhm.
it will behoove all of us
Oh
Get
yeah.
those because now you know where you are now. Now you're up there, in the upper echelon, and you halfway know what you're talking about. And I
Yeah.
say halfway because I've been doing this for a long time.
Ah,
I'm like 3/3 of the way through it. I'm just it's like the mafia says, I try to get out and they just pull me back in. I try to be
you're
retired.
funny. I
Listen,
love it.
there's no I read the Bible all the time, and I read it multiple times, just straight through and get the lesson and go.
Yeah.
There's not one nary need a single Terry phrase no that says, okay, when you retire you get to stop.
You're
And
right.
they don't have provisions for that. And we got provisions for everything: how to be a good daughter, how to be good with your money, how to be faithful, how to treat other people, how we will entertain angels unaware and don't even know it. That's what
Yeah.
angels unaware mean, mother love. And still you learn something. I couldn't find the word retire. I couldn't find the phrase to say quit working. I'm like, this is a ripoff. What do I do when I stop? God goes, oh no, you don't stop, Missy. You just keep going on and do
You
something.
just keep going, but it keeps you mentally energized. It keeps you young because you have something exciting to look forward to. And that's what I like about this as well. It sort of re-energized me and given me this new hope to see, the growth is really amazing to see a
Mhm.
person's journey and just to see how a person evolves. I think for me, that's what I really like about this industry is you could take something and make it into whatever you decide to go with, but you have to surround yourself with the best people to be able to achieve those dreams.
And trust is a big factor.
Yes.
Trust, and that's a huge factor in any relationship.
Oh yes.
And for that to be shattered because we can't trust you with the story, and you want to just we tell you the story, and then you just want to just slander it, and just make it vile. And whether they say if it bleeds it leads. I'm like, I don't want people bleeding all over me in my shoes. I wear pretty expensive shoes that I've had
That,
for quite some time. We've put no stuff on my. Why can't we have the good stories are showcased? Why can't we talk about, instead of listening to us talk about how horrible the kids are and horrible the teenagers are, and we don't take responsibility because we don't want to believe we raised a bobblehead.
yeah.
We don't want to believe that. No, you didn't. That's on you. You got to take responsibility for that from being that child's teacher from the beginning. You don't have a right to send your child off to school and you don't know what's going on in that classroom.
You're right. You're right.
We got one son. He's given us four grandchildren. Because I told come get these kids. They get on my nerve. And and they're teenagers now. One is an adult. The other three are teenagers.
Oh
And just helping them navigate,
yeah.
through all the stuff they're going through, and the rules keep changing, and they ask so many great questions. And
Questions.
parents will just say, look, what do they tell the kids? Little kids, kids, teenagers, go to that device and just, talk on the thing right there, and then
Yeah.
don't bother me.
That's amazing that the kids they're smart and they're asking good questions and the curiosity, right? Which I think is so important.
And when you don't know, and when I don't know, I will say to them, oh, baby, I don't know that. Let's go Google it. I found that I'm Googleable.
Of course,
I'm
because
ungoogleable. It's kind of creepy though when people could just find out where you live and what your phone number is. And this was the part to get me. Well,
yeah,
mother love, we've been trying to find you. No, you ain't. Don't stand in my face and lie. We've been looking. No, you didn't. Because if you Google me, I am Googleable.
find exactly.
I told my husband pay all of the stuff that's going on. Did I do something wrong? Oh no. Okay, call me back in. I don't know. I hit the wrong button. E. Mm. Okay, I hope you patch back in because I don't. It just went off. And we're talking about her new podcast, Eve Richards. She is a writer. She's an actress. She's an entrepreneur. I didn't touch it.
There she is. Close this. Close that.
Okay.
Click here.
Okay.
Click there. There.
Oh. Hello.
Hi.
We're back from our station break. This is Eve Richards. She is an entrepreneur. She's a fashionista. She has a brand new podcast out called the Discovery Podcast with Eve. Now, what are we going to discover on Discovery Podcast with Eve? Tell us how that works.
So the podcast is very, again, very inspirational. We decided to call it the Discovery just because when you have all of those various guests, when you think about Kate Lander or someone like a Sean Keenan or David A.R. White, who we just interviewed on Saturday, there were things I didn't know about David, even though I was very fortunate to be in one of his upcoming movies. David relocated from cancers to LA when he was 19. He had never watched a movie. Actually, he watched one movie when he was 18 or so. So to me, those stories are like, wow. Like, but here is someone who came in and then he was discovered by the legend Burt Reynolds when he was 19. So it's that discovery of having people open up and sharing stories about how they got started. There's so many people out there in the world who think they can just relocate to LA and they'll find fame in 5 minutes. And so all of those various entrepreneurs and actors and producers and directors come down and they pretty much do a deeper dive into the industry. So it's discovering how it works and how people can go about navigating. Someone in India may think, but I want to become an actress. So what do I do? So folks get to talk about some of the steps that they took, what helped them, because everyone has a totally different journey. Someone can come and they can get discovered in 5 minutes. It's not about mimicking someone's life, but it's learning from that person.
When you said mimicking somebody's life, that's the whole point, I think, of actors and actresses, is to make us believe the story.
Yes.
And I've been doing, in the entertainment industry, I didn't even realize this. And it's been over 4 decades that I've been doing this.
Wow, congratulations. Oh my gosh, wow.
Keeps me out of trouble.
It keeps you young.
Yeah, it really does, because I got to keep up with what's going on and the way things are changing so rapidly. The technology that
With AI.
look at us. We are, 2 different spots, and we're in Hollywood. I'm just letting you know, and we could do this. Everybody cannot do this. Like you said, they want to jump in. I could count on 3-4 hands how people have been guests on our show, and they said, Mother Love, you make this look so easy. I think I want to have a talk radio show on the podcast. I'm like, okay, but just let me explain something to you.
Yeah.
Let me make this clear. This is a business.
It is a business.
You got the talent. Okay, you got the talent. Now get to the business aspect. Who do you talk to first? Where do you go? Where's going to be your research? How are you going to, present yourself? Because sometimes people get stuck in one way. They can only see you as this. They can't see you as anything else. And that can be, discerning as well, disconnecting as well. Because, I think the worst words that an actor can hear is, we're going in a different direction.
You're right about that. And one thing that I also wanted to share that for me was when Bob Gale came on the show. He was the first guest of the season. I think his episode aired October 10th. But what he shared was when he had his script, he and his co-producer, they had pitched this 42 times. 4-2. It got rejected. But he kept going. And so for me, those were some of the things that I learned about. You can never give up. If you have a dream, and these are the nuggets that I use to inspire others, that if Bob Gale, who's now become, the Back to the Future theology and now the musical, his script was rejected 42 times, but he believed in the story. And he knew he had something special.
And oftentimes, the powers that be in this town who are running things, they don't really like to do anything that they didn't think of. And how dare you think of this? And they should know, this cat been turned down 42 times. See, it take the 43rd time. To get something to happen. And oftentimes, like you said, people can come out here to Hollywood, get discovered in 5 minutes. They walking around, going to the A restaurants and, all the A-list events. And then 2, 3 months later, okay, where'd they go? And
Yes.
what happened? This is what I found out. And I'm not gossiping. I found this out. A lot of these entertainers and sports figures, they show you pictures of them. These big mansions and in front of, these personal airplanes and all the bells and whistles. And then come to find out, the studios and the producers have purchased these up under their name. So
Yeah.
then when your star is shining, okay, you can have all access to this. Soon as your light even begin to start to dim, people are going to know that you didn't have all of this going on.
You're
And,
right.
they're like drunk with wanting to be, with the passion that they have and what they can do. Then I get concerned about the ones they just let walk in the door, do whatever they want to do, don't even pay their bones, don't pay their, and those are the ones that are going quickly.
Yes, you're right, because it's about how do you sustain the career, right? It's
Mhm.
not, as they say, a one-hit wonder. You come and you do something fab, and then everyone gets to hear of you, and then no one gets to hear about you. It's maintaining the consistency of being able to go out and produce good work, whatever it is that you do, acting, podcasting, radio, whatever it is, but
Mhm.
working consistently, which to me matters the most.
No, I have to say though, there's a young group coming up, that these young people are getting the opportunity to produce and direct their own projects now.
Nice.
Especially with the advent of the internet.
Yeah.
I can't even think what the name of the movie was, but it did really, really well. And the studios, and nobody could take credit for it because they didn't do it. you know.
Yeah.
And in the rap business, I can't, see, when you get to be my age, it just go out right in the middle of the conversation. But they had these two young rappers, and nobody wanted their music, like your friend who got turned down 42 times. So
Yeah.
they decided, we're gonna produce our own music video.
Good.
We're gonna get our friends together, and one guy, he was doing his thing, the young lady was doing her thing. Okay, all the record producers, no, we're not looking for that. We're going in a different direction, as it were. Well, they didn't know whether to crap or go blind when both of them got an a Grammy nomination for best.
Oh, what a fantastic.
They was all running behind. Oh, here. And they looked at them, and they couldn't have been 25 years old. They looked at them with such power in their faces. They weren't rude or disrespectful when they came up to them and said, "Oh, no, thank you. We're going in a different direction."
Wow.
They could have cracked a brick. I was like,
Yeah. My goodness.
And we have to be willing to teach the young people the nature of this business, because it is a business. I would tell people, when you come out here, make sure you got all your ducks in a row. They didn't even understand. I've been doing this for a long time. They didn't even understand the importance of having their trademark, their name, image, and likeness trademark. And now look at what the internet is doing. I used to have, the whole nine. Well, I still do, but still, they can have access
Of
to your
course.
computer. And now with this AI, oh my God, what is your take on artificial intelligence
Oh my
as it
goodness.
pertains to the industry?
I think it's scary because creativity, the fact that you can have some artificial intelligence write a script, it's not the same. There are certain things that I feel a human being does better than artificial intelligence. That's just my own perspective. It's great where technology is going, but we still need writers. We need human beings to be able to do certain things. The emotions that you evoke, the beats, and it's not the same as having some AI, put together, develop a script. It's so I'm a little bit on the fence with AI. I mean, I'm supporting technology, but when it comes to the creative writing, I think I have a problem with that.
And the only thing I could see is like when you go to the AI and you ask it for something. So you're looking up a search, we're looking up Eve
Yeah.
Richards, and you'll come up, your name will come up, and they'll say, well, we could take this picture and we could Photoshop it or whatever they do now with the technology, and we can have her saying this, that, and the third, and people are going to believe it. I mean, when I first saw what they were doing with humans, what they had, and I knew they've been doing this for years. They finally got it down. The reporter was asking him, well, how does this work? He was explaining to him how this worked. And he had a artificial intelligence, Will Smith,
Yeah.
The one that's married to what's her name? You know what I'm talking about. Uh, why can't I call her
What
name?
is it? Jada Pinkett Smith?
Jada Pinkett. Thank you. See, I have to use y'all brain cells. Mine do. Okay, so they had him sitting at a table with a bowl of spaghetti, eating it with his hand, eating it with his hand. They can make it go fast, make it go slow. And then the guy goes, "Wow, that's Will Smith," because everybody said that's Will Smith. I thought it was Will Smith. And then the guy goes, "That's artificial intelligence." And so I'm like, this is kind of creepy. You can make people do anything, say anything. One of the things that they're working to perfect is to have the machine speak in more of a natural tone.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know how they're gonna figure out how to make a machine sound just like you with your nuances, and have what it is that you want to get across. It's a little creepy for me. I mean, I stepped over the fence. I'm paying attention to it. But the people what are these hackers are hacking into your information and making you look like all kind of stuff.
Oh, it's scary. I can share some personal stories
Okay.
just because I think it's creepy to see what hackers can do. I had someone steal my identity, and they did a 2023 tax return as me. Luckily for me, the IRS were able to catch this because the amount that the person used to submit was not correct. And I was very fortunate that they caught. I would not have known.
Right.
So it's a little bit creepy to think of
It's
what.
real creepy. And speaking of having your identity stolen, I had mine stolen many years ago, and they used my government name. They knew everything. Oh yeah, they were what had happened was they flagged my credit report, and they had like all these negative things. And I was like, I've never had this kind of gas card. I've never lived in a trailer park. Never was a nurse. Blah 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 blah. This one, some nurse down in Alabama, some way back up in the day place, got my information, stole my identity, bought a house full of brand new furniture. I mean, like 6 brand new rooms of furniture.
Wow.
She bought a car. They wouldn't let her have the car because she needed to have something or other. And she didn't have that. So they dinged my credit report. It has taken me 7 years.
Oh my God.
And
Wow.
and every time I go in for credit, that's why I said, you know what, I'm gonna be done with it, because they can't sell something that I don't have. So I got a bank account that just goes in, and it just rotates and takes the stuff out. And when they use my real government name,
wow, how bold!
I tracked them down. I tracked them down. Okay,
scared?
when you brought up the IRS, they were really, really helpful. They really were, and they really were a breath of fresh air. They really got me off the roof, and really talked to us, and and really let me. And I'm in here with the box full of stuff of my husband.
Yeah,
he is a neat freak, and he takes order of his stuff. If you saw my desk, I tell him, don't touch my stuff because I know where it is. It's up under the stapler. It's over there under everything. He said, baby, don't worry about this. We got this. Because the first time we went, the guy said, well, I want to know where you can justify having an $18,000 gown that you can only wear once. I said, I work in the entertainment industry. He said, don't worry. No, we go back to the IRS to show our receipts and everything.
wow.
And they were like, no, this is not right. And they really, really helped me get that. My husband and I get that straightened out. And he had receipts for gas. And I used to think it was, anyway, he said, when you go on an audition, find out what time, how many miles you started with, how many miles you got round trip. I was like, that is so freaking anal.
Yes.
Saved us $1,700 because we got the refund or whatever it was. I just like, okay, honey, whatever.
Yeah.
Because so I want to know, this is all up in your Kool-Aid now. In being in the entertainment industry, you said you don't have kids. What was that your choice? Did you say, I don't want to do this? Because a lot of young women now are saying they don't want to have kids.
No, it wasn't so much. I have to share. My mom passed away 20 years ago. When she died, she was 55, 50.
Oh, very young.
I have a younger brother, and my brother and my mom was like so protective of us. We were like her best friends. Even though she was a judge, she was a very simple woman. It was so unexpected. my mom, my family, we had been in San Francisco. I was living in San Francisco. We all flew to Boston.
Mhm.
My mom had to attend a conference in London. All of my family members in Boston, my Aunt Susan, Linda, we all had Wendy had a party. I don't know
Mhm.
why. My mom was going to London to attend a conference, and she left and she never came back. She passed. That death, it took almost 10 years for me to get over my mom's passing.
Sweetie,
I was,
let me just interrupt you right now. You're never gonna get over it.
yeah,
You get through it. You take
yeah,
it one day at a time.
yeah,
And
thank
you
you.
know, you have to know in your core
Yeah,
that your parents did not make any junk and
yeah,
they knew you could handle this. You're never going to get, my mother's been dead, I don't know, for a long time since
yeah.
1992. And, you know, you'll feel her, you'll smell her, you know, you'll know that she's present and her
But
presence around you. So
no,
don't
it
try
was
to get
scary
over
for
it, baby.
me
Don't let
because
it, don't try to get over it.
I
Work through it.
I did not want to have kids because I felt like the love, the support that I had from my mother, she would have been such a major force in terms of me raising kids. And after she passed away, I made the decision that I don't want to have kids. It wasn't selfish, but I knew the bond I had with my mom, and I knew the relationship I had with my grandparents. My mom would have been so involved that I really felt like I wanted her to be here to experience that with me.
And they do. When I had our son, we went up to Cleveland. That's where we're from. You know,
Oh,
so he could meet, you know, everybody on our boat because we're both from Ohio.
yeah.
And literally, my mother took the baby upstairs in her room. I mean, she had like a mini nursery in her bedroom. And
Wow.
I would say, okay, mama, it's time for me to get the baby because I was breastfeeding. She said, just pump it out. Just pump it out again. I'm like, Mom, my name is not Elsie. Oh, you pumped your breast when you was in the hospital and all them babies didn't have no milk. You could just pump. I was like, so I'm pumping my breast and sticking it through. I said, Mama, why you got your door closed? Why you got your door locked? She said,
Uh,
"Mama, I don't want them touching on my baby." I was like, oh, it's that kind of party.
yes.
And she spoiled him rotten. He ain't worth a quarter right now today. That's my baby. That is my baby, and I love him to pieces. And
Oh,
and it's a being a mother and is a big job. I mean, because you never stop doing that. And the job doesn't end even after you pass away.
yes.
That mother love is gonna always be with you. You know,
Yeah.
that's gonna be your strength. That's gonna be your light. That's gonna be the one that you hear, and she's gonna wait a minute, E. Sometimes they only gotta call it by first name. E,
Yeah.
E. E, and then you go, okay, I'm
Yeah.
scared now. Okay, I got it. But you know that she has built a foundation
Yeah.
for you. So now, what is your brother in the business?
Oh, my brother went to law school.
Oh, he followed in the footsteps.
He did go to law, but he's not practicing. So he was in Boston, like all of us, and he relocated. My brother's name is Ntang. He relocated. He met his wife, who's Miriam, and he leaves her family is in Minneapolis, and so he lives in Minneapolis with his kids. And but he did not want to practice. And then I have an aunt in Boston, Wendy, who's also an attorney, and my mom's side of the family, she has a brother, Uncle Ngali, Uncle Henry, who is also an attorney. So there's a slew of lawyers in my
So,
family.
so you're the one that said, okay, I'm just gonna get outside of this window. Okay, I got things to do, places to go, people to meet, money to make. And then did they look at you sideways when you said that this is what you were gonna do?
So my mom always knew that
Mm.
this is what Eve wanted to do. I got accepted to go to law school, but when my mom passed away, I deferred my law school. And I realized it was just taking me so long to get over the death that I just couldn't see myself going back to law school. It just wasn't for me, and I kind of gave it up.
You didn't give it up. God had other plans for you, sweetie.
God had, yes,
I'm just thinking what they say. You want to hear God laugh? Tell him your plan.
no,
You
you're,
silly woman. You're not doing. That's me imitating God's voice.
yes.
Oh no, I got other things for you to do.
Yes, no, you're right about that. It wasn't meant for me, and I'm happy. I'm happy with where I am in my journey, and I'm continuing to evolve as a person, as an entertainer, and I'm blessed. I'm very fortunate to have God in my life. Everything that I have now is because of God.
And that's important. And people look at you like, what's wrong with her? Why are you so happy? Why not be happy?
Of
I'm
course.
not taking, I don't understand why people take life so seriously. They're not coming out of it alive. We are not going to come out of death alive. We're not coming out of this, that's not going to happen. Why not make the best,
The
be
best.
the most
Yeah,
powerful, be the most compassionate, impassioned person, and let your light continue to shine? Because, when you got a bright light like you do, God is not going to allow you and anybody else to put a bushel over their light. And
of
that's what you have to go through. And you got to listen, I understand what it's like to be an orphan. And they said, well, you can't be an orphan when you're old, huh, Grandma? I'm like, when did I get old? Oh, that's it. Ask me. I got one for you. Ask me, Mother Love, when did you get old? No, go ahead.
No, I mean,
No,
you're still very
I got one for you. Just ask me, Mother Love, when did you get old?
no, I think you're still
Okay,
very
no, okay. Just don't try to think it through. Just ask me, Mother Love, when did you get old?
okay, Mother Love. When did you get old?
Tomorrow, because I ain't got time for that crap today. I got things to do.
I love it, and that's
See,
what keeps
I
you
get old tomorrow. I don't
energized.
have time for that today. I got things to do. I gotta talk to Eve Richardson, find out what she's doing, and I'll be all up in her Kool-Aid. Speaking of being up in your Kool-Aid, yes, because this is what I do. Let's talk about the different projects that you're working on, because you working like what do I always say? You working like a Jamaican. Jamaica's got 15 jobs. Oh, but you did say you're of African descent. Okay, you're African descent. You work 11, 12 jobs. This,
I
what
gotta
would you do
do
if
it.
you had to be still?
Oh, you just said it. We only have life is so finite. It's so short. I have this energy, this ton of energy. Why not explore, diversify, and do it now that I have the ability to challenge myself and do different things? I'm grateful to God for giving me this energy to go out and conquer the world and make a difference. So I'm taking advantage of all the things coming my way, because who knows what tomorrow I don't know what's gonna happen. So I'm living in the present and focused on becoming the best version of myself. That's all I'm.
And this is what's cool. You realize that at the point you are now in your life, you haven't gotten to your best self. You got
No.
so many things to
Yeah.
do, so many people to meet,
Oh yeah.
so much light to shine. Now,
Yes.
the majority of us, people that are in the industry, because we are more visual than a lot of people, especially when it comes to community service.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what community service means to you, and do you have a favorite charity?
Yes, that's a good question. So when I lived in San Francisco, I volunteered for an organization called Dress for Success.
Mhm.
Alice, the mission of Dress for Success is to empower women, by providing a network of tools to help women thrive in life and in work. That organization made me a much better person, donating or whatever time that I was able to give to them. Seeing these women come into this organization, women who are struggling, but being able to transform someone who walked in and looked like they had problems, seeing the transformation, where putting them, styling them in business suits. And I had young girls who were 12, 13, who came in. That for me,
90 seconds.
so empowering. And that is what I take with me. There are other organizations as well. Roger has a client, Tom Provos, that I'm sure you've interviewed. I love his organization, what he's doing, Bags and Grace. I love that. There's another organization that I love as well. It's called I Did Something Good Today. Kimberly, who is an amazing person that I try to join the calls when I can to help with social. That organization is all
60 seconds.
so.
That is so wonderful. I want to thank you and Roger Neal, whom I love dearly, and thank him for connecting us. Please know that you're welcome always here. You're welcome right here. And just know that we believe in you. And I want to thank Roger Neal, because I think he only sends me the best people.
Thank
Talk
you.
about the best people. I hope you enjoyed our conversation today.
I loved it. I'm so grateful to have met you, and I hope we stay in touch.
Listen, I told you my husband paid the phone bill and the light bill and the cable bill. And I was like, I told you I was trying to be retired. She's not listening. Y'all don't understand. I know there's no retirement in the good book. Okay, so I'm going to keep doing what I do. We are on Monday through Friday from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And just so you know, when your next project comes up, when you're done with the movie, you come in and talk to us and let us know what's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, Eve Richards. Check her out on her Discovery channel for her new TV show. Peace and blessings. And remember this, no matter how big or tall, short or small, thick or thin,